Imagine finding a dusty, 500-year-old notebook. Inside are drawings for a helicopter and a battle tank. You would even see a plan for scuba gear. You might think it was a joke, but this book is real. It belonged to a man named Leonardo da Vinci. His mind was so far ahead of his time. He was thinking of the future, hundreds of years ago. His notebooks were secret books of tomorrow. To understand Leonardo, we have to think about his world. It was a time long ago in the 1400s. There was no electricity. There were no cars or planes. People did not understand how things like gravity worked. Many people believed that birds flew using magic. They did not understand the science of flight. The word impossible was used for almost everything that was new or different. The world was full of things people thought could never be done. This made Leonardo's ideas even more amazing. He was dreaming of machines that no one else could even imagine. He saw a world of possibilities where others only saw walls. But Leonardo was not born a super genius. He started out as a little boy who was just very, very curious. He grew up in a small town in Italy. He loved to explore the world around him. While other kids played games, Leonardo was watching things. He would draw the wings of a dragonfly. He would watch how water swirled in a river. He always wanted to know how everything worked. He had a secret power that made him so smart. It was an idea he called Saper Vedere. In his language, this means knowing how to see. This was the key to all his amazing inventions. Knowing how to see was not just about looking at things. It was about understanding them from the inside out. He wanted to know the secret rules that made things work. He looked at the world like a giant puzzle. For example, he would not just draw a picture of a bird. He would study its bones to see how it was built. He would look at its muscles to see how it was so strong. He learned how the air moved over its wings to lift it into the sky. Leonardo's notebooks were filled with amazing inventions. One of his biggest dreams was to help people fly. He drew beautiful pictures of flying machines with giant wings. They looked like something from a fantasy story. But his first ideas didn't work. This is a very important part of his story. His flying machines were often too heavy. He also realized that a person's arms were not strong enough to flap huge wings like a bird. He didn't give up. His notebooks show us his real thinking. You can see where he crossed out a bad idea. Then, right next to it, he would draw a new one. He learned that failing was just a step toward finding the answer. He watched birds for hours and hours. He saw that they didn't just flap their wings up and down. They twisted them to catch the wind. They soared and glided. Leonardo understood he needed to learn from nature, not just copy it. This showed his true genius. It wasn't just about building a machine. It was about understanding the rules of the world first. He was learning the secrets of air and movement. To understand how a pilot could power a machine, Leonardo knew he had to understand the best machine of all. He had to understand the human body. He saw it as a perfect piece of engineering. But there was a big problem. In Leonardo's time, it was forbidden to study the inside of a human body. It was a secret and dangerous thing to do. His amazing curiosity, however, was stronger than his fear. So, in secret, he began to map the human machine. His drawings were breathtaking. For the first time in history, someone was drawing what the inside of a person truly looked like. He was seeing things no one had seen before. He drew the human heart with all its little doors, called valves. He figured out how they opened and closed to pump blood. He was the first to draw the human spine correctly. He even drew a perfect picture of a baby safe inside its mother. Leonardo saw that our bodies worked with the same rules as his machines. Our muscles pull on our bones like ropes and pulleys. Our joints work like hinges. He realized that science and life were connected in a beautiful, perfect way. For Leonardo, art and science were not two different things. They were just two ways of asking the same question. How does the world work? He knew that to draw a river, you first had to understand how water moves. To paint a person, you had to know how they felt. This is his big secret. It is why the Mona Lisa's smile looks so real. Leonardo had studied the muscles inside people's faces. He knew exactly which tiny parts moved to make a happy look. His science made his art better, and his art helped him see new science questions. So, how did his notebooks really predict the future? The biggest idea is this: they didn't. They weren't magic books that told what was to come. They were something much, much more powerful. The notebooks were a manual for how to think. They were a guide for how to be curious and how to learn. They showed a special method that anyone could use to figure things out. It was a blueprint for discovery. The method has 3 simple steps. First, ask questions about everything. Be super curious. Second, look at the world very, very closely. See the small details that other people miss. And third, test your ideas. Don't just guess. Try things out and learn from your mistakes. This way of thinking is still used today. Think about an engineer who is building a brand new robot. She draws her ideas, builds a small one, and tests it to see if it works. She is using the Leonardo method. Or think about a doctor who wants to help sick people. She looks closely at how the body works. She asks questions and tries new ways to make people better. That is also the Leonardo method. Every time a designer gets an idea from nature, they are thinking like Leonardo. They might look at a strong spiderweb to make a stronger bridge. They are using his way of seeing the world to solve a problem. He didn't just give us cool drawings of flying machines, he gave us a way to think that created those drawings. This is his real gift to us. The ideas in his notebooks were a starting point for the future. His true legacy is not a single invention. It is the idea that we all have a powerful tool to understand the world, our own curiosity. He taught us that if you look and you ask and you try, you can figure out almost anything. Leonardo's notebooks are more than old paper with cool drawings. They show us a special way to think. They are a map for our own minds. The biggest lesson is not about flying machines or paintings. It is about being curious about everything. Leonardo never stopped asking questions about the world. He wanted to know how it all worked. Because he was so curious, he saw connections others missed. He saw how water moves like hair. He noticed how a bird's wing could teach him about flight. These small observations led to his big ideas. Imagine looking at a simple flower. Leonardo would not just see a pretty color, he would draw every petal. He would count them and see how they grew. He would understand its secret pattern. This way of looking is still super important today. Scientists, artists, and inventors all use it. They look closely at the world to find new ideas. They are following a path Leonardo showed us. You can think like Leonardo too. It starts with paying attention. Look at the clouds. Watch how an ant carries a leaf. Ask yourself how your toys are made. Every question is a small adventure. Think about something you love to do. Maybe it is drawing or building with blocks or playing a game. How can you look at it in a new way? What secrets can you find if you look closer? Curiosity is like a superpower. It helps you learn and grow. It makes the world a more exciting place. Leonardo's real genius was his giant, unstoppable curiosity. When you let your curiosity lead you, you start to see the world differently. Problems become puzzles to solve. Mistakes become chances to learn. You are building your own notebook of ideas just by wondering. The greatest tool Leonardo da Vinci left behind was not a painting or an invention. It was the idea that anyone, anywhere, can make amazing discoveries, if they just learn how to truly see.